Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda and today's video is honestly so delayed. The thing is, I have seen the J movie that I'm going to be talking about today for I think more than a month now. I have seen it at least 3 times and I just didn't have the time to sit down and talk about it, which is quite a shame considering that I have been really excited to see this one for reasons that I will be explaining later. But yeah, I mean, finally I had the time, so we're doing it. I'm talking about Honey, which stars Hirano Sho and Taira Yuna. And thank you so much to my online friend and very trusty J-drama subber, rjgman 56. The last time I mentioned him, I said his username wrong. Check out his Facebook page and his website down in the description below. He subs most upcoming J-dramas and J-movies. It's quite rare nowadays, so I'm really happy that he's doing it for the community. And so a shout out to him. See him in the description. I finally got to see this movie and I absolutely loved it. Now, putting my biases in front of you before I start digging deep into the details of the movie, basically I got really excited about this one because of Hirano Sho, because of how I've fallen in love with him as a character in Hana no Chihare because he played Kaguragi Haruto. And unlike Nakagawa Taishi and Sugisaki Hana, which some of their dramas and movies I have been like watching or binging after Hana no Chihare, for Hirano Sho, he's an idol first and foremost and not really much of an actor before Hana no Chihare. So it was quite hard to find dramas which he starred in because it didn't exactly have a lot. Like there's Shark, there's also just quite a couple of bits from Johnny's Entertainment, but not necessarily a drama that he played in. Now, Honey is one of the movies that he did prior to Hananochi. So when I just loved him in that particular series, I told myself that as soon as Honey comes out and it gets subtitles, I'm gonna go ahead and watch it. Now, overall, I'm gonna be upfront about it and say that it's not really something that's spectacular. It's not something that is gonna blow your minds or something like that. It's not the type of movie. It doesn't actually offer anything new to the table. But then the reason why I liked it is because if you want a feel-good sort of just chill shoujo-ish type of movie, you know, the typical love story kind, then you'd probably enjoy this one. It's a very lighthearted thing that sort of falls into the typical stereotypes that we see in shoujos where bad boy meets innocent girl, they fall in love, blah blah blah. Even if it falls into the whole stereotypical things, it still has a very cohesive story. Like, it's not all over the place. It mainly because it focuses on such a familiar theme, and therefore it didn't stray away from that. It's a straightforward love story where they just have to settle sort of like differences, dangers that comes with being quote unquote a gangster type character, if you catch my drift. But a main standout for me is their use of a color to signify some moments in the movie that a lot of us probably would have missed. But since I absolutely love my symbolisms, I have noticed that they use the color red to signify acts of kindness throughout the entire thing. For example, the umbrella that now has given Onisa's character at the beginning is color red, and that was a turning point when he realized his wrongs, that he wouldn't fight or go into fights with someone without a proper reason. And so fast forward to the roses that he has given her in the beginning when he wanted to date her, it was his move into being happy, as well as his hair, which signifies his idolism for something that isn't really, it's a more of an Asian stereotype thing. When you have extreme color hair, you have to have an extreme character. But as always, these types of movies sort of like turn that around, that we shouldn't base our judgment on appearances, and that says a lot with his red hair color as well as with his friend who was wearing a red hoodie when they started, you know, having that whole friend, I want to be your friend, you don't have to go through things alone talk in the plot. So red really played a part in showing us these small details. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who noticed this, but I really liked how they use a certain color to symbolize moments in the film. As always, I'm all over the place. I'm not a professional reviewer. I'm just sitting down and talking about what I like about this movie. So I wouldn't go into like too much details and stuff, but one thing that were a bit of like a downside for me, this is a recurring theme sort of in most J-dramas, not even just J-dramas, but Asian dramas in general, is the whole like incest thing. Now, I wouldn't call it as harsh or as horrific as my Marmalade Boy experience, but for this one I was sort of still annoyed that it included the idea of now mainly or initially being in love with her own blood uncle. Now, even though further into the plot it was sort of just implied in a way that she was just feeling protective or sort of like possessive of him in a way that, you know, he is of her because of like they're the only ones who have each other, and they just wanted to put in that conflict that maybe she was actually in love with her uncle, that's why she couldn't be with Onise. But I really hated that idea. I mean, they could have played it in a way that, you know, she was just so attached to the uncle because ever since her parents died, he was the only one by her side. They could just play it like that without the whole arc of her being in love with him. I do like the idea that they reverted that a bit by when she confessed that the person that she actually fell in love with is Onise. So it sort of like negates that entire thing that maybe she just confused her feelings of affection towards her blood uncle as first love or puppy love. But again, they didn't say it explicitly. To me, it still feels like, why do we have to include that? But still, as I mentioned, it's not something as crazy as my reaction with Marmalade Boy and that entire theme. I have made another video on that if you want to check that out. But yeah, I think that's one of my main concerns about this movie. But it's a common thing, really, which I hope they stop doing. But overall, all I'm saying is if you want something a bit like lighthearted, nothing too complicated, just something a bit cheesy, would make your heart melt a bit, but still with the familiar tropes, like if you're not annoyed by these kind of things, then probably you would like this one. And the cast is also like very cute in a way, very aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, if you're looking for something to pass time, not really groundbreaking, but it's there. It's enjoyable. This is probably my bias talking, but who cares? That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me down in the comments below if you have seen it, if you want to see it, or just have any other thoughts about dramas involving the actors in this particular movie. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll be seeing you again soon in a new video. Bye!